What are land use fees? Land use fees are charges or payments required by a government, organization, or individual property owner for the use of land for specific purposes. These fees are typically applied when someone uses, leases, or occupies land that they do not own, or in certain circumstances where land use is restricted or regulated. The concept can vary based on the context in which it is applied, and land use fees can take different forms depending on the situation. Common types of land use fees. 1. Government land use fees. These are fees charged by local, state, or federal governments when individuals or companies use public land. This could include fees for activities such as mining, grazing, construction, recreational use, e.g., national parks, or special permits, e.g., building permits. Examples: fees for logging in public forests, grazing cattle on federal land, or leasing public land for energy development, e.g., oil and gas. 2. Private land use fees. In some situations, private landowners may charge fees for access to or use of their property. This could include leasing land for farming, setting up an event, or permitting construction on private property. Examples: renting farmland, allowing hunting or camping on private land, or using land for commercial purposes like hosting a wedding or festival. 3. Zoning and regulatory land use fees. These are fees imposed by municipalities or local governments to regulate how land is used within their jurisdiction. Fees may be associated with zoning changes, land development, or construction projects. Examples: fees for applying for a zoning change, building permits, environmental impact assessments, or infrastructure development. 4. Easements and access fees. These are fees charged for granting someone legal access to use part of your land, such as for road access, utility installation, e.g., power lines, or pipeline construction. Examples: a utility company paying a landowner for the right to run power lines through their property, or a neighboring property owner paying for an easement to build a driveway. 5. Penalties or unauthorized use fees. In some cases, fees may be imposed as a penalty for unauthorized or improper use of land. This can include cases where individuals or entities trespass or use land without proper permits or permissions. Examples: someone entering private property or government land without permission, leading to fines or land use fees being charged as compensation for trespassing or improper use. Purpose of land use fees. Regulation and control. Governments often use land use fees as a way to regulate how land is used and ensure that it aligns with local laws, zoning regulations, and environmental standards. Revenue generation. Land use fees are a source of revenue for governments or landowners, helping fund public services or maintaining the land. Compensation for use. Fees are sometimes a way for landowners or the government to receive compensation when others use their land for commercial, recreational, or public purposes. Land use fees in context of private property, like the example provided. In the example you provided, the land use fee refers to a charge or penalty imposed on individuals or government agents who enter private property without permission. The claim is that by posting a legal notice citing federal codes, the property owner can charge a fee, e.g., $5,000, to anyone who trespasses or uses the property without authorization. This type of fee would likely be enforced through civil legal action, where the landowner seeks compensation for unauthorized entry based on the posted notice. It's important to note that while the concept of charging a land use fee for unauthorized entry may be promoted by certain groups, enforcing such fees can depend on local laws, property rights, and court decisions.